Hi guys, today's video, I don't know if you're ready for it. I'm not ready for it. I am so excited. Odens has come out with a whole new collection and you guys know how much I love this brand. Their aesthetic is just so on point. Their packaging is everything. Their formulas are perfection. I'm so excited to be digging into this. I've had this collection now for I want to say about a week and I haven't filmed with it yet. I'm so grateful that Odens actually sent out their PR like early enough that we have time to create enough content before the launch, which is amazing. So thank you Odens for that, because it makes it so much easier for us creators to actually do a good job like showcasing the products and have time to do so. So like I said, I'm so excited. I'm going to show you the full collection. I have it all. I did get it sent in PR. Obviously, I said that. Duh. Okay, I'm gonna shut up. I'm gonna show you everything that's in the collection. I hope you guys are ready. That collection came with a beautiful card, so I'm going to read this while I show you everything that is in the collection. And then of course we're going to be playing with all of it. We're going to do multiple looks because there are multiple eyeshadow palettes and I'm just excited. So let me go ahead and read this. Freya is the most elegant goddess in Norse mythology. Freya is the goddess of love, war, and magic, as well as the goddess of fertility, party, and spring. Her tears dripped on the stone went soft, dripped in the mud turned into golden sand, dripped into the sea, and the sea turned into transparent amber. Freya rides a golden cart pulled by a cat to bring love and happy to the world. In this new collection, we designed a new double opening Saga of Freya 18 color eyeshadow palette packaging. We hope that the interesting design will bring you a unique experience while using the eyeshadows. The 9 color Amber Tears palette and the 9 color Cat's Breath palette are inspired by the mythical elements from the story of Freya. We used chapters to name the smaller palettes. Maybe in the future we will introduce more chapters to this collection. The Velvet Cosmetics bag can be split into 2 cosmetics bags. The built-in transparent waterproof cosmetics bag can be used to store any cosmetics or skincare products. 6 eyeshadow brushes are inspired by the rune script. In Nordic legends, rune script has magical powers, and we hope that the brushes can be magical tools for your everyday life. The brush cleaning box is a smart addition to make cleaning your brushes easier and quicker. The silk bow hairpins, whether at home or when going out, we hope that they can add a romantic touch to your outfit. Love from Odens. I am just over the moon by this collection. It is so cool. It's so unique and so inspiring, and I cannot wait to play with this. And as you saw, this collection is just beautiful. I actually really like the idea of having a double-sided palette. Usually I don't really love, I don't know, like packaging that's maybe not practical, but I feel like this it just kind of makes sense in the way that it's like a book and you kind of flip the pages and then you have one palette here and like one palette on the other. I don't know, like this just makes sense to me, and I think that it's innovative and it's very, I don't know, it's very on brand as well. And I feel like I like the fact that they don't stick to the same kind of packaging and the same theme and the same eyeshadow pans and the same this and that, like every single time they come out with something different. And I really appreciate that because they just put so much effort and thought into all of their collections. And just look at this, like this is just beautiful. So we're gonna go ahead and play with all of this. Like I said, so excited. I think I'm going to start with the double-sided palette, and I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to do one look with each side. So I'll do one look with this side and then I'll do one look with this one, and then I'm of course going to do one look with each of these palettes as well because I want to test out all of it. We're going to try the brushes. The bag is, this is beautiful. Like this is such a nice travel bag. I love the quality of this. I don't have prices of any of these things in front of me because like I said, I haven't gotten them yet. So if I didn't know the prices, they were on the screen when you saw it. But as of this very moment, I can't tell you how much any of these things cost. But I do have a code with Odens which will save you 10%. It is affiliated. It's just Annette if you want to save some money. That will definitely help. So I think we should just go ahead and start. So yeah, I'm gonna start priming my eyes with my Natasha Denona eyeshadow base. Okay, I'm going to start by using this brush. This is the FR2, I think this one is called. I'm gonna guess that you can probably buy these individually or as a set. I don't know for sure yet because like I said, I don't have all the information yet, but let's go ahead and start with this palette. So what do I want to do? I feel like I want to use that shade. When I swatched it, it looked so beautiful. So what do I want to do? I kind of think I want to go for more of a neutral crease. I know that's like shocking, but I think that's what we're going to go ahead and do. So I'm going to use this shade as well as this shade in my crease. I'm going to start with this one as my transition shade. This one is called Peace. Not going to do anything crazy. I'm just going to start by packing it on and then blending it out. This brush is very, very, very soft, like very soft. It is a little too big for what I like in my brushes. I know I say that all the time, and I know that is just personal preference. But if you're someone who don't mind brushes that are on the larger side for what I like, I'm not going to say larger. This is not a large brush. This is a very small brush, but I like very small brushes. So just want to make that very clear that if you don't have small eyeshadow brushes, this would probably be a small eyeshadow brush for you, and you would probably really like it. But so far the quality of these seem really, really nice. This is a great brush for a transition shade. I wouldn't use this to do any kind of detail or deepening up work because for my little eyes it's a little too big for that. But for just putting down a shade like this and blending it out, it's doing a very, very good job. Oh, I love Odens Eye mattes. They are so easy to work with. They're so buttery smooth and they just go on so easily. They have one of my absolute favorite matte formulas. Also, what do you guys think of this backdrop, by the way? I think this one is one of my, is it crooked? I think it's maybe a little bit crooked. I think it's one of my favorites though. I feel like this is one of the backdrops that I've actually pulled out multiple times and reused because I feel like it's very neutral and it really lets like the makeup be the spotlight, but there's also a little bit of something going on and it's not just white. Next up, I'm gonna take this brush here, which is the FR6. This is a very small bullet brush. It might be a little bit too small for what I'm trying to do. Wow, I'm so picky with brushes. It's kind of embarrassing. Anyway, I'm gonna use that with the shade Deep Thoughts, and I'm going to use this to put down the color that I'm going to deepen this up with. I might not be able to use this to blend it into my crease, but we'll see. I'm definitely gonna use it to just put down the color. That is a really, really nice and pigmented brown. Just starting in my outer corner, and then once I have the pigment down where I want, I'm gonna slowly start bringing this in through my crease. Actually, I think I'm gonna be able to blend this out with this brush. Probably gonna have to go in with the first brush that I used as well, but for now, just gonna kind of put down this color and then we'll work on the blend after. Gonna take a little bit of this underneath my eye as well. Going back into that blending brush with the first shade that I used, and I'm just gonna work on getting a good blend between these two colors. Okay, I think this looks very nice. For my lid shades, I think I want a little bit of this one underneath my eye. I want this one in my inner corner, this one on my lid. I think that's kind of where I'm going with this. So I'm gonna start with some glitter primer because I just like putting down glitter primer, and also some of Odens Eye's shimmers are quite glittery, so it really helps the glitter sort of stick to your eye. I'm taking this on the FR4 brush with my glitter primer here, just gonna put down the glitter primer. This is a very small packing brush. I really like this brush. This is a great size brush for me. And I'm gonna take the sticky side of the brush and I'm gonna dip into the shade here called Happy, which is one of those shades that kind of have a lot of different colors in it. And when you swirl it together, it just becomes one. And I think this is going to look so good. So I'm just gonna basically put this all over my lid. I love this formula from Odens Eye. I think it's just so fun and so impactful. That is really, really pretty. I could take a little bit of that dark sort of satiny red shade as well in the middle here. Maybe I'll do that to just tie this together and we can use an extra shade. I'm not being precise at all with this. I don't want this to turn into any kind of a structured look or cut crease or anything like that. I just want to have a nice smooth blend here on my eyes. Okay, so with the same brush, the other side that I don't have any glitter primer on, I'm gonna go into the shade called Mystery, which, like I said, is this sort of satiny red shade. It definitely leans a little bit more magenta. That is so pretty. And I'm just gonna sort of put that in between where the matte and the shimmer is, just to tie these together and pull in a different color. And then I'll go back in with the matte in the outer corner and just intensify that after. So after a little bit of back and forth with all of these colors, just to make sure that they're blended, I think it's looking very, very nice. Let's see, what do I want to do? Now that I use that shade on my lid, I think I want to do another shade underneath my eye. So I'm going to take the shade here, which is called Crush. Going to give that a little bit of a spritz of Fix Plus here because I don't like having glitter primer underneath my eye. And this is a little bit of a glittery, flaky shade, so I just prefer spraying this when I do put it under my eye. That is so cute. Like, look at those little sparkles. Love that. So for the, I'm guessing, star of the show, we're going to use the shade called Muse, which is a very silvery light blue. And again, I am going to go ahead and spray that, and we're going to put that in the inner corner. And I think this is really going to make this pop, because this is a very, very intense shimmer. This is more of a metallic rather than a topper shade. So I'm guessing this is going to be quite intense here. Just going to blend that into both the lid shade as well as underneath my eye. That looks really, really pretty. Okay, I think this is going to be it for the look. I'm gonna go ahead and finish off. I'll come back and I will show you what I did. Okay, so this is the final look, and I think it turned out very, very pretty. This is the kind of neutral look that I feel like I can get on board with, because of the reflectiveness and like the texture of the shimmers make it a little bit more interesting than just having like a brown crease and a shimmer on the lid, because I feel like these shimmers are just, they're just so pretty. Like they're beautiful. I love them. So what I did to finish off, I used a little bit of Crybaby in my waterline. This is a lavender This is a lavender eyeliner from ColourPop. Don't think this is available anymore. For the rest of my face, I'm using all Odens products because I absolutely love them. My blush today is Apricot Girl, which is one of my absolute favorites. If you guys have not tried these blushes and you like pigmented blushes, I do have to say that, because these are quite pigmented, even though I don't really feel like they're too pigmented because I like a pigmented blush. But if you like a pigmented blush, you would love these because they are wonderful. My highlighter today is one of the Mesmerizers, and this is in the shade Web of Destiny. It's one of those kind of swirly shades, and I think that it looks beautiful. Really, really pretty. And then my lipstick today is Lady Camellias, which is one of the cream lip stains from Woonsai as well. One of my absolute favorite lip formulas of all time. These are amazing. So that's how I finished off with the first side of the Freya Saga palette, and we're gonna go ahead and move into doing a look with this side. So let's go ahead and do that right now. It is time to use this beautiful side of the palette, and I think I have a bit of a plan for what I want to do for this look. I think what I want to do is I want to use the orange as well as this very, very dark brown to deepen things up with, and then do the green on my lower lash line and play with some of these shimmers on my lid. I'm not sure what I want to do. I'm very tempted to use this one all over my lid, but I think it's going to be more of an inner corner kind of formula, but we'll see. I'm going to start with this orange. Let's see what this one is called. This one is called Intelligent, and I'm going to take that on one of my What's Up Beauty brushes. This is the R102. It's the one that's the most similar to my Refer 13. This one is a little bit bigger, just like a tiny bit, but it's also like pointier, I would say. But overall, like, you could definitely compare these brushes and say that they are quite similar, and I really like both of them. I really like the brushes from this brand. I think that they are very, very nice quality. Obviously, I haven't washed them or anything yet, so I can't speak for that, but so far I really, really like them. I'm just packing this quite heavily into my crease here. As you can see, very, very nice and pigmented shade. So that looks very, very nice. Next up, I'm gonna actually go back to that pencil brush from the Woonsai collection. I really like this one. I'm gonna go into the shade here called Strength, which is the dark brown. And I'm gonna start by packing that very heavily in the outer corner of my eye to really get a lot of depth here. And I'm also going to take it a little bit through my crease, but mostly I think I want this shade to be focused in the outer portion of my lid here, just so we can get that depth that I'm looking for. It just makes my eyes look a little bit less hooded than they are. And I'm gonna take just a little bit of that just on the outer portion of my lower lash line as well, just so we can connect it with the lid. And that way it's also going to make it a little bit easier to transition to that green underneath my eye here, so that I don't have to mix the green in with the brown. I can just mix the green in with the orange. I can just mix the green in with the brown is what I was trying to get at. But this is a beautiful color. I never thought I would say that about a brown, but for some reason, very, very dark browns, I am not mad at them. Now that I have the color where I want it, I'm just gonna go back in with that first brush and sort of make sure that the blend between the two is looking good here. And then we're gonna go in with probably the lower lash line shade first, and then I'll figure out what it is that I wanna do on my lid after. So this is just blending out beautifully. Woonsai's mattes are just so easy to work with. They're effortless. I love them. Next up, we're gonna go into the green and put that under my eye. I'm gonna use this one right here, which is called Defend, and I'm gonna take another pencil brush. This one is from BH Cosmetics. Doesn't really matter what you use, just use what you have and what you know you like. So I'm gonna kind of just smudge that underneath my eye here. Make sure I get this nice and blown out, and also just blend it into that brown. But that is a beautiful green. Really, really, really pretty color. This looks really, really nice. I like this color combination a lot. I love having contrasting colors because it just really makes everything pop. So what I'm gonna do is, let me just swatch 2 colors here so I can see what it is that I want to use. I feel like this one might be a little bit too icy to go on my top lid, so maybe I will use, what about this one? This one could be, oh, that could be so pretty. That's what I'm gonna do. That's the one that's like kind of, I don't know, it has different colors in it that I kind of swirl together. It's the one called Spark down here. So I'm going to use that on my lid, but first I am going to put down some glitter primer. And I'm going to take the sticky side of my brush here, dip it into that shadow. And we're basically, that looks so pretty. I'm just going to put this all over my lid basically. And then we're going to do a little bit of that other icy shade underneath my eye, I think, just so we can try out different colors. This is so beautiful. Wow, it's so weird. Like I can see like the specks of different colors on my eye. Like I can see a little bit of like green in here. Oh, it's so wet looking. Wow, I love that. And look how that layers over that brown on the outer corner. It almost makes like a different color. This could definitely be used as more of a topper shade if you wanted to as well. Ooh, that looks so pretty. I am so in love with this color. That looks so beautiful. I'm gonna take a little bit more of that dark brown just so I can get a good blend between the matte and the shimmer. I'm just gonna go over the edge here and just layer this back over. Yeah, this looks very, very good. What I'm gonna do just to finish it off is I'm gonna take a little bit of the shade up here, which is called Promise. It definitely looks a little bit more blue, but I feel like layered over the top of that green. I think it's going to pull a little bit more green. At least that's sort of what I'm hoping for, because blue is definitely not what I'm going for here. So I'm going to take a small pencil brush. Let's see, I'm going to use my Rephr 03. I'm going to pick up a little bit of this on my brush, and I am going to spray it because this shadow is a little bit on the flaky side. So I just want to make sure that it's going to stick to my eye here. And I'm going to just pop that on the front. Wow. Wow, do you see that? Oh my god, that looks so pretty. Love. I mean, just wow. If you don't like glittery shimmers that might end up on your face, you might not like this, but I love having sparkles everywhere. It looks so pretty. I love this color combo. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and finish off with my face and my eyes and my lips and all that jazz, and I'll come back and I will show you the final look. And here we are, and I love this look. Have I said that like 5 times already? But I think this turned out so good. That shimmer shade on my lids, oh, I could just stare at that all day. It's so stunning. Oh, I see so many shifts in that. It is beautiful. To finish off, I went very orange today because I don't know, I thought it would go with the look. I'm wearing a blush from Moira Cosmetics. This is in the shade Orange Blossom, and I basically use like only the orange part of it because I wanted it to be very orange. I'm also wearing quite an orange highlighter, which is from Bitter Lace Beauty. It is not from the Kaleidoscope Glow collection this time. This one is called Coral Cove. I cannot speak today. Coral Cove. It is a beautiful, beautiful orange highlighter. Let's see, my lipstick today is from Kaleidos. It's one of the new lip clays. It's in the shade Terra, which is such a beautiful terracotta orange. I think it went very nicely with this look, and I love this lip formula. I think these are so, so nice. So that's, oh, actually in my waterline as well, I'm using an eyeliner from Lethal. It's a sort of mustardy yellow, but leaning more yellow than mustard. It's in the shade Treble. And yeah, that's how I decided to finish off. Like I said, I love this look. I think it turned out so good. And I think that the color story on both of these sides is it's just fun. I don't know, I'm enjoying it. Even though it's quite neutral for what I would normally go for, I feel like you get like especially enough shades and just different textures and formula to make it interesting. And that is one of the things that Odens is so good at, is just having different textures in their palettes and just making it a bit of a surprise when you're working with their products. And I think that that is just so much fun. So let's go ahead and get into the chapter 1 palette, which is this one right here. So we're gonna go ahead and do a look with this. So let's go ahead and do that. So we're gonna move into the third look, and I figured since I'm using this brush for the first time, just blending out my eyeshadow primer, I wasn't going to start filming until I'd apply this, but this is the perfect brush to blend out eyeshadow primer with. It's like a little bit too big for me to use with eyeshadow, but for doing this is perfect, and I'm definitely going to be using this brush a lot. So far, I really like the brushes. And this is the FR3 brush, if you were wondering. So this collection is launching on the 20th. I don't think I said that in the beginning of the video because I didn't already know, but it's launching on the 20th, and this video should be going up way in time before that. So just wanted to make sure that you knew. I will have all of the information down below in my description box with like times and all that stuff so that you know. So we're gonna go into the chapter 1 palette here, and I don't know what I want to do, but like both the kind of purpley shade and the red is standing out to me, and I kind of want to use both of them. I also really want to use this purple shimmer because it looks stunning. So those are probably going to be like the focus of this look. So I'm gonna go ahead and start with, I need to find a clean brush. Let's do a two-tone crease. I'm going to start with the purple because I think I want to have that in the inner portion. So I'm going to take that on my Refer 13. This one is called Amethyst. It is such a beautiful lavender. I really love the tone of this. It reminds me a lot of one of the shades that is in the... I literally had to go grab the palette because I forgot the name of it. This one palette. It reminds me a lot of this shade right here. I think this one is a little bit more cool tone. Now that I look at them side by side, yeah, wow, they're just not similar at all. Disregard. But that's good because it means that they are not dupes. So I'm just gonna kind of pack this on quite heavily in the front portion of my crease here. I'm gonna take this about halfway. I'm also gonna take this underneath my eye, just in the same spot that I have it on top. So I'm taking this a little bit further than halfway because I am going to be able to easily blend this into the red, and that way I get a nice transition between the two, but this one is going on very, very nicely. And then, like I said, for the other shade, I'm gonna go into this one, which is called Red Coral. It definitely looks like it's a red and not a pink, so I'm curious to see how it's going to look on the eye. I do tend to struggle a little bit with like reds leaning pink on me because of my eyeshadow primer, but let's go ahead and see what this one looks like. Yeah, this one definitely leans more orange and is way more of a true red. Oh, I really, really like that. That is nice to see. Very nice to see a red that doesn't lean too pink. Ooh, that is beautiful. Oh, I really, really like this color. Just gonna take that underneath my eye and just kind of connect it in the outer corner. I don't think I want to use any kind of deepening shade with this look. I think I want it to be just these two colors in my crease, and then we'll play with some shimmers on the lid after. And look how easily this shadow is blending out. I feel like I don't have to work at this at all, and that just makes me so, I mean, that is basically blended. That was so easy. That looks beautiful. Next up, let's go in with some shimmers. I'm thinking, like I said in the beginning, I definitely want to use this one. I just want to kind of swatch it again and see. That is so beautiful. Let me just swatch this one as well. Can I combine both of these? I definitely think I can. I think that's what I want to do because I do want to use as many shades as possible. So I'm going to first use this one sort of on the outer corner of my lid, and then we're going to do the purple in the inner portion. I'm just going to take a little bit more of that red just in the outer corner of my eye before I go in with the shimmers. I'm also just putting down a little bit of glitter primer all over my lid where I want my shimmers to go. And I'm gonna start with the shade here called Pink Ice, which was this one. And that's gonna go in the outer portion of my lid where I have the red. That is so beautiful. So beautiful, so shiny, so glittery, so wet looking. Ooh, I love this. I just love Odens Eye's formula. I think it's just so interesting and fun to work with. Like I said before, if you don't like very glittery shadows, you might not like this, but I don't have any issues with their shadows at all. I think they perform like a dream, and I don't really get a lot of fallout during the day either. Sometimes I get a little bit of glitter particles on my face, but like they're super easy to wipe away and it's not really that noticeable, and I don't mind sparkling anyway. Okay, and for the front portion of my lid, I'm gonna go into the shade called Tears, which is the one that has the kind of swirly pattern in it. Definitely a duochrome. I'm so excited to be using the shade. This one is a little bit harder pressed than the other one, so I kind of have to rough it up a little bit with the edge of my brush. That's usually how I use shadows like that. I just kind of swirl it around a little bit and it peaks up a lot easier that way if you just loosen it up. So I'm gonna start with that on the front portion of my lid here. That is really, really pretty too. Very, very glittery as well, but oh, so impactful. Definitely more of a topper shade though. It's not the most opaque, but I don't think it's meant to be either. And I think that this would make for the most beautiful layering shade. Oh my god, imagine using that shade that I used in my crease here, that purple, and then this one all over the lid over the top and just doing like a monochromatic moment. That would be absolutely stunning. But this is really, really pretty. beautiful. I think this is what I'm going to do with my eyes. I'm gonna go ahead and finish off. I'm trying to not make this video be like 2 hours long. Gonna finish off with my look. I'll come back and I'll show you what I did. And here's how I decided to finish off. I didn't do really much of anything. I did a little bit of mascara. I didn't even go very heavy on the mascara, and I didn't do any liquid liner at all. I just wanted it to be a very soft and springy and summery look, and I really like it. I love the shimmers. They are so stunning. And my waterline is Crybaby from ColourPop. Let's see, what else? I used a blush from Odens. This is in the shade Sweet Peach. It's kind of a mauvey pinky tone. I think it looks really nice with this look. My highlighter today is Baby Doll from Gimme Glow. It is a loose highlighter, and then my lipstick today is from Wet n Wild. This is one of the high shine lipsticks in the shades Clothes Off. I'm actually gonna go ahead and film another look now because I just want to play with this last palette so badly. And yeah, so I'm gonna go ahead and take some pictures, take this look off, and I'll come back and we can finish off with the Chapter 2 palette, which is the one with the cat on it, and it's the cutest thing ever. Man, this palette is so beautiful. I keep looking at this and I'm like, I want to use all of these shimmers, but I'm also looking at this thinking, is this a little bit similar to the backside of the double-sided palette? And then I kind of looked at them side by side, and they're honestly kind of similar, but not similar enough that I feel like they're too similar. I mean, the color story is almost the same in a way that it's kind of greens together with neutrals and oranges, but I feel like there's enough difference in tones to kind of, if you wanted both, you could probably justify having both. I don't think that they're going to be too similar. So I just wanted to kind of show the comparison because it didn't really occur to me until right at this very moment when I was looking at this palette and being like, I recognize this color story. Like, I feel like I just worked with this, but it's really not the same at all. So let's see. I think I want to just work on like the greens today. I feel like that's sort of, it's the vibe that I have. So I think what I want to do is I want to do a very intense kind of green tealy minty smoky eye. So I'm gonna start with this shade right here, and that's gonna go in my crease. This one is called Catnip. Oh man, I love the shades in this palette. I just love cats, okay? I'm such a cat person. And I'm sure you guys know that we have a cat. My cat's name is Churro, and he is my baby. He's my everything. I love him with my entire heart, and every time I look at him, my heart just breaks. Like, I don't know what else to say. Like, I just love that cat so much. It's almost ridiculous. I shouldn't be allowed to love something as much as I love my cat. I love my husband too, but like, obviously my cat's my number one because he's just cuter. So I'm just gonna put this in my whole crease. I'm also going to take this underneath my eye. I'm not gonna be able to use as many shades in this palette for this look as I did with some of the other looks, I don't think, but this is just kind of what I'm feeling, and I really want to test out these shades, and I feel like we've worked enough with like oranges and neutrals and the other looks that I think it's okay that I don't use those in this look, because this is just exactly what I'm feeling right. Look how pigmented that is. Odens is so good at making pastels. That is so insanely intense. Like, if you guys are looking for pastels, their Elva 2 palette is absolutely amazing. I actually have it right here. If you've been looking for good pastels, matte pastels, these are so, so good. They are like up there with the best pastels in my collection because they are so intense. They're almost like neon pastels, and I think that's why I like them so much, because it's not just a wash of color despite it being a neon. It's actually like very, very pigmented and bright and intense. So what I'm gonna do next is I'm gonna take the shade here called Bad Temper, which is this dark green, and I'm basically just going to put that all over my lid and then blend it into my crease. This isn't going to be an all matte look, but I like doing this when I'm doing smoky eyes, and I really want the shimmer on my lid to be nice and intense. I like having a darker base underneath, and I also just want to see like how this layers on my lid as well. Oh, this is such a beautiful color. I'm just going to take my time here, taking it quite slow in the beginning and just putting it low down before I start blending it out. And I want this shade to go just high enough up that when it's blended out, I can see it like over the hood of my eye, so that I can create a little bit of depth and you can see both shades when my eye is open. I'm just going to try to get a good blend here. And with smoky eyes like this, you really just need to kind of take your time because it does take a little bit of time to blend here. I'm gonna take this shade underneath my eye as well, just to deepen up the lower lash line. Just gonna go back in with that first shade that I used and make sure that the blend between these colors are looking good, but so far I really like how this is looking. This is beautiful. You could definitely leave it with just the mattes as well if you don't want any kind of shimmer on the lid, but since I am definitely a shimmer person and Odens Eye shimmers are spectacular, I definitely want to try one of them. So the shade that I'm going to use, I think it's going to come as no surprise because there's really only one that's going to go with this look, and it's this one right here. This one is called Bling. So of course I am going to use some glitter primer first. Just putting that all over my lid where I want my shimmer to go. I'm not putting it really into my crease at all because I do want to be able to blend the shimmer into my crease, and that's going to be a little bit difficult if I have any kind of glitter primer down here. So I'm gonna, look at that. That is so pretty. I'm just gonna basically slap that all over, and of course I am going to be covering up the shade that I just put down, but I honestly just wanted to try it and see what it looked like. Oh, that looks so pretty. Oh, I just love these shimmers. Not being precise with this at all. Like I said, I am just tapping it into my crease so I get a good blend here as well. But look at that. Look at how metallic that is. It is so stunning. Okay, so very easy look here. Just to finish off, I'm going to take a inner corner shade and I'm going to use the shade called Cat Star, which is this swirly shade here. I'm gonna give this a little spritz as well, just because I don't like having any glitter primer in the inner corner. So I'm just going to use this as my inner corner highlight. Just a beautiful, beautiful minty shade. Goes very nicely with these other ones. It's so sparkly. Beautiful. I'm gonna go ahead and finish off with the rest, and I'll come back and I will give you my final thoughts on this collection. Ta-da! This is how the finished look turned out. I didn't do anything crazy, obviously. Just did some liner and mascara, a little bit of turquoise in my waterline. I'm using one from ColourPop. This is in the shade, probably not available anymore. I think it's the shade called Zulu. So that's basically it. I mean, my face makeup is the same because same shit I used in the last look. So let me talk you through the collection. Let's start with the brushes. The brushes, this one's not from the collection. And some of them are like on my table here. I'm making such a mess. So this is one that I haven't actually used on camera, I don't think, but I've been using this for my highlighter basically every time, and I love it for that because it's a very big fluffy brush. I mean, it's supposed to be an eyeshadow brush, but as you can see, it's the size of my eye, so for me it's a little bit too big for that. This is the FR1. Beautiful highlighting brush though. I love it for a precise highlight. The other brushes are also really nice. This one, beautiful for blending out eyeshadow primer. The little bullet brush is also very, very nice for doing detail work, like deepening up outer corners, can be used as an inner corner shade. And then the blending brush, which is the one that is actually a good size for me, is the FR2. Really, really nice for just like a transition shade or a wash of color. I probably wouldn't use this to like deepen anything up with because for me it's a little too big, but the quality of these brushes seem really, really nice. I love the design on them. I love the kind of faded pink into mint. I think that is beautiful. I think that they did a really good job with these brushes, and I also really love this brush holder. Like, I'm probably going to bring this whenever I travel next because it's great for like storing brushes, when you're using them when you're out traveling or whatever, just like leaving them like this and using them this way. And it's also just a good way to keep them protected while traveling. Let's see, I didn't really use the color switch. I don't use these kind of products a lot because I find them to be a little bit too rough on my brushes. I prefer just like using a towel in front of me to wipe it off. And I also have a brush cleaning spray, which I love to use. This one is from Beauty So Clean. It's my favorite. I love this, just spraying it on my brushes and wiping my brush on the towel if I feel like I really need to like clean them. That is how I like to clean my brushes, or I'll just wipe them on like a clean towel. I find that to be a little bit gentler on a brush than scrubbing it into something like this. But again, this would be great for traveling if you want to bring something to clean your brushes with because, it gets off a lot more than just a towel would. So I think that the brushes are really, really nice. I'm very happy to have them. Is there anything else other than the eyeshadow palettes? I think that was it. Obviously the makeup bag as well that I haven't used because I just got it and I haven't gone anywhere. It's really, really nice quality too, and I feel like I can never have too many makeup bags. Like, it's always really nice to have on hand because you can store things in them, you can use them for like bringing stuff, and it's just nice to have. If you guys have been looking for a new makeup bag, I think it would be a great choice. Let's talk about the palettes though. I mean, you guys have seen me use them now, and I think that the quality of all of these is just, it's the normal Odens Eye quality that I love and adore, and I don't really have any complaints about this. I mean, this is the double-sided one. The only thing is that if you want to use the palettes together, it might be a little bit annoying to kind of flip back and forth, but I think that these palettes are good enough curated as standalone palettes that you probably don't need to, if that makes sense. Like, I feel like you could easily make looks with just using one side of the palette, and if you wanted to combine them, you definitely could. And I think it's just a really cute idea. I think the fact that it's like made as a book, it just makes it, I don't know, it's just really cute, and I feel like you could store them in a very adorable way as well if you're into like aesthetic decorating, which I'm clearly not. I'm just going to throw it in a bunch of my pile of palettes, which sounds awful, but that is just how I store my palettes. I don't really care if things look that great, but if you are someone who's really into like the aesthetic of things, these would just be like perfect for that. And I love these two as well. I think the packaging is just, it's so cool. Like I said in the beginning of the video, I love that they're trying something different, that they're not just sticking to the same theme over and over and over again. And I feel like this is what I like out of makeup brands. And another brand that I can think of that do the same thing really well is Kaleidos. They also like test out new packaging and new things and new concepts. And I really appreciate when brands do that, because it really makes things more exciting and it makes you want to keep up with the brand and like follow what else they do. And I think that Odens is just a perfect example of a brand who really takes initiative and tries to come up with something unique and different. And I feel like the makeup community is just lacking that right now. This is the Chapter 1 Tears of Freya palette. Again, beautiful color story, very soft. If you're into more softer looks, this one would be beautiful. It's kind of reminiscent to the first Freya palette, but this one has, I would say, a little bit more diversity, and there's more that you can do with this. The Freya palette is a little bit more on the monochromatic side, and there's not as many different tones to work with, and I feel like this one is more versatile despite it only being 9 shades. The cat one is probably my favorite because I just love cats, like I said. This is what the color story looks like. Of course, you've already seen it, but I think this is super fun. I love the fact that they mix complementary colors together, which can be a little bit tricky to work with, but I would say just try not to blend mattes that are like on the opposite side of the color wheel in together. Maybe try to keep them a little bit more separate. You can definitely use them combined into a look, but if you're going to do it, be a little bit careful with what you're kind of blending together. Like if you're going to try to blend this green into this orange, don't overblend, because it is going to muddy up a little bit and make a little bit of a brown. If you don't like that, you probably don't want to do that. But like I said before, I think the quality of all of these products are really nice, and I'm so happy to have this collection. I would have bought it with my own money if I wasn't sent it, because Odens is a brand that I love. So that's gonna be it for this video. Let me know if you guys are picking anything up. Are you interested in any of this? Don't forget to use a code if you are shopping. Don't have to be my code, but if you do, thank you so much. I really do appreciate all of you who's used my code. It does help me out a lot. So yeah, that's gonna be it for today. Thank you so much for watching. As always, thank you Odens for sending me this beautiful collection. I love it all. If you want to see some more Odens content, I do have a playlist right here. And if you're new, don't forget to subscribe. And I will see you in my next video. Bye.